Hello and welcome to Gameplay for All Seasons. Today we're talking about the key factor which I believe will determine whether Hogwarts Legacy has that opportunity to go on and be a Game of the Year contender, to be an absolute classic. And if it doesn't have this one factor, I just don't think the game can even be anywhere near that. So the item that I'm talking about is character customization. Now, I'm not talking about what you look like. I've never been too concerned with how much flexibility you get there. I'm not someone who spends hours agonising over what degree my nose should be or how bushy my eyebrows are. No, I'm talking about something much deeper than that. So I'm going to launch into that. If you like this sort of content and you like talking about Hogwarts Legacy, why not subscribe to the channel? Plenty of stuff like this and also lots of other stuff in other games. So go ahead and hit that button. Now, I say I'm talking about character customization. Now, what I'm really talking about here when I say it's got to be a factor that makes the game push it onto that next level, I'm talking about your character choices. And really, I'd split that into three areas. So firstly, there's the house that you choose. Obviously, we know there's 4 houses. We all know what they are. But I think that really should give you a different set of missions, friends, and opportunities. Now, I think an interesting comparison could be made against Cyberpunk and the lifestyle choices you get there. Now, it's been quite criticised for the classes that it had and the fact they didn't really make too much difference. So you had the Corpo, the Nomad, or the Street Kid, and it felt very much when you looked at those descriptions that it was going to matter and you can get different stories, etc. But in reality, bar one extra character you got on one of those, it kind of, after the very beginning, all mulched into one. And the story was the same, it had the same ending, it kind of didn't really matter which one you picked. You mainly just had a few different dialogue options, which is fun, but it's not really that critical to the story. So yes, really think what house you pick, which is what it says at the website at the moment, or potentially source into. I hope the picking is just your ability to override, much like Harry did when he picked Slytherin, but we shall see on that one. So the second area, and I think again this is just as important as that first one, is your origin story. And I think it should matter whether you are Muggle-born, half-blood or pure-blood, and not just for the comment here and there from other students. I mean, we all know that this game is set at Hogwarts, and you are going to be a student, but we don't know all the details. We don't know whether this game is going to be set across multiple years, or if it's just going to be one particular year, or maybe just a few of them. We also, crucially, don't know whether the story starts before your arrival, or potentially goes on to after you graduate. In reality, I find it hard to believe it will really go on to after graduation, because that kind of feels like a whole new game. And considering we know that, as far as we can tell, it's going to be centered around Hogwarts and the surrounding area, it just feels very unlikely. But the time before is definitely a place that we could potentially explore that origin story and make that very much feel like your own story. And I think, yeah, that's the area where, whether you're Muggle-born, you're pure-blood, or you're half-blood, it would be nice to have that sort of unique introduction into the game, a bit like Dragon Age has done in the past. So the third area then is where you are on the good and evil spectrum, and I really, really do hope it's a spectrum. I'm not one of those people that likes the fact you either have really, really good or really, really evil, and you just flip from one to the other and everyone hates you or everyone thinks you're absolutely fantastic. I've mentioned it on videos before, really not a fan of that, and I know that is what most games go for. But I hope it's a spectrum, and I think depending where you are on that spectrum, that should mean that people treat you differently, and it should change the missions and I think the ending as well. So that'd be really, really nice. Lots of games have promised that in the past and it's never really delivered, and I think if this game can deliver on that and the other two areas of what I'm calling character customization, I really think this game could be hopefully as good as we're all hoping. Like I say, I mean, it's to me, it's the real key. If you don't do this, it's not going to be very good. There are a multitude of other things you have to do to make this game a great game, but I think you have to absolutely nail this one. So hopefully the people who are making this game are listening, or at least had the same thoughts. If you've enjoyed this, then why not subscribe so you don't miss any more Hogwarts Legacy content. If you've got thoughts on this content, or you've got any other videos you'd like me to make and thoughts and questions out there, then why not put them in the comments? I'd love to read them, reply to them and engage with you guys. So yeah, speak to you next time.